Okay, Assalamu alaikum everyone. It's great to have you with us join in, and I'm glad to see our friend Dr. Ishaq Dover as well, who's joined us. Welcome, sir. And
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
yeah,
Thank you.
if everyone can mute their mics, welcome to
Okay.
the webinar. It's a series of webinars that YPS, the Young Professional Society, organize on a regular basis in collaboration with our partners, collaborators, STEM Matters, who are based in the Texas, the United States. And today we have a very, very important webinar given by a very important person, Professor Waqar Ahmed, who is from the University of Lincoln, who is a professor of nanoscience, and he's also the deputy head of the School of Physics and Mathematics. So he's a very senior figure, senior person, and he will be speaking about practical leadership. Now, YPS, Young Professional Society, was set up to serve and to help young people, youngsters with personal and professional development. And we do this by focusing on three areas. And that is number one is leadership, number two is communication, and number three is innovation. So these webinars that we hold on a weekly basis are based on these three pillars. And today we have Professor Ahmed, who will be speaking about leadership, one of the core pillars that we work under. And it's very, very important that the youngsters know about leadership and get advice from senior professionals about leadership so that at an early age, at their young age, they're able to excel and learn about leadership so that in their working future lives, in professional lives, they become successful and are able to lead effectively. And now everyone has some leadership skills. You know, people have different styles of leading. Some like to lead from the front, some like to sort of lead from the back, you know, making sure no one gets left behind. So everyone is a leader in their own way. So today, Professor Ahmed will be speaking about practical leadership, giving some advice on how to sort of develop your leadership skills. So without further ado, I will pass over to Professor Ahmed, who maybe will be given an interactive webinar. So your participation will be welcome. So if you've got any questions, then please do type them in the chat box, and then Professor Ahmed will be happy to answer them. Could I ask everyone to please mute your mics so that we don't get any disturbances whilst Professor Ahmed is speaking? So over to you, Professor Ahmed.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nasser. Can I ask you to switch on your cameras, because then I can see the interaction between me and the rest of the group, please? Thank you. It's very important, I think, if you put your camera on, because then you know, it can be an interactive seminar rather than me just talking to you all the time. I've only got one camera on. Can the rest of you put the camera on, please?
I think leaders should not be shy.
Anyone else?
Okay.
Nobody wants to put their camera on. So Ali, do you want to put your camera on? Arlene's on there, Sonia, Sarah. You can keep muted, but if you put your camera on, it'd be more interactive. Great, thank you. Thanks. Ali's got his camera on. Anybody else?
Maybe we can start.
Okay, let's start then. Okay, thank you, Dr. Nasser. Let me start off and ask you a question. How many of you would like to become a great leader? Put your hands up. So I can see the ones with the cameras. Thank you. You all want to be great leaders? Fantastic. Thank you. And how many would like to make everybody that's with them do what they want them to do? Everybody? Thank you. So what I want to do is I want to thank you for joining this webinar and for taking the time and the effort to come and spend 1 hour of your time listening to me speak on leadership. As Dr. Nasser says, I'm Waqar Ahmed. I am Director of Enterprise at the University of Lincoln. And Lincoln is a very nice university on the east side of the UK. And I hope some of the youngsters will attend Lincoln soon as they kind of get to university age. So welcome to this webinar, and I've titled it Practical Leadership. Okay. So what you're going to learn in this webinar is you're going to learn some foundational principles on how to become a transformational leader. And obviously leaders have personal qualities that makes them great leaders. And I want you to be able to apply some of these basic principles to your life. And if there's one skill that I could have learned a little bit earlier in my life, it would have been the ability to lead people. And if there's one skill that I would want to impart to the youngsters, is leadership skills. All the other things that you can easily pick up, but leadership takes a bit of experience and time. And if you start young, I'm sure you can become a fantastic leader. So basically, when I was young, I never wanted to be a leader. I always wanted to hide. I was shy. I was scared of speaking in public. And I worked hard and I did well in my academic career. I started getting my qualifications. So in them days, we used to do O-levels, then you do your A-levels, and then you do your degree. And eventually I went and did a PhD. So I acquired all the technical knowledge in my subject to do really, really well. But when I went into industry, I found it difficult to progress in industry. And it was difficult. I knew my technical knowledge, but I had no knowledge of communication with people. And I had zero experience in leading people or leading a team. Nowadays, you get taught a lot of that in schools and colleges and universities. But in my time, we didn't really get asked to lead anything. It was just about learn your maths, learn your chemistry, learn your biology, sit exams, pass your exams, and then you're okay. And there was hardly any coursework either. It was all, you memorize things and then you sit your exam and you get your qualifications. So I didn't have these leadership skills, so I had to get them by trial and error. So initially in industry, I learned some leadership skills and became a operations manager and product manager. Then I came into academia and I moved up the ladder from a lecturer to a senior lecturer, to a principal lecturer, reader, professor, head of Institute of Nanotechnology, and then director of research for the school and director of research for the college. And now I've taken on this role, senior management role, as director of enterprise. But I've done it by trial and error, and I don't want you to waste time by trial and error. I want you to learn the foundational principles early so that you can become a great leader. So basically, that's what we want to do. So let me just see if I can share some slides with you. I don't have any slides really, but I'm going to write on this blank screen, yeah? So basically what we've got is, so this one is about, am I sharing my screen at the moment? Can you see my screen?
No, we cannot.
Okay, let me just, can you see anything now?
No, we cannot see. I cannot see anything.
Sure.
Yeah, now we're seeing something.
Okay, so this webinar is about practical leadership, yeah? Let me put the slideshow on, thank you. Okay, this is about practical leadership. So the first question we want to answer is what, can you see the writing on the screen? So first question we want to answer is, what is leadership? So that is, can you read my writing?
Yeah, just about.
Okay, so if you want to write in the chat, you want to make it interactive, do you want to write in the chat what you think leadership is? So in one sentence, what is leadership? Can you see anything in the chat? Just type in whatever, and by typing in, if you just passively sit there and listen to me, you're not going to learn a lot. If you participate, you will be able to learn things that you can utilize in your life.
Guiding people, someone who takes responsibility, leading a group of people by directing them.
Good, thank you. Any more? What is leadership?
So these are the three we've had so far.
So you've got three things. I don't know, somebody's writing on my screen. Can you see this writing on my screen?
Yeah, who's writing?
Oh, I don't know. So somebody's writing on the screen for some reason. Okay, so we said what is leadership? The leadership is the art of motivating a group of people towards a particular objective or towards a common goal. So if you've got a team, if you're a leader, normally you'll have a team and you want to guide a group of people towards a particular goal or towards a particular objective. But can you name? Can you give me some examples of good leaders that you think? So examples of any good leader that you can think of that comes to mind. So can you give me some examples of a good leader? Anybody in the chat? Can you type in the chat?
Yeah, to your previous question, somebody had sort of what leadership is, leader is. Someone has put being non-authoritative yet having effective strategies.
Okay, good answer.
Serving people and
serving people, yes, that's the servant-centered leadership. Any others?
It says someone who is telling loads of people what to do, inspirational, motivational.
Yeah, so somebody who can inspire and motivate people. Again, good answers. So give me some examples of people that you think is a good leader. Any in the chat?
The New Zealand Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern.
Very good. Any others?
Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela, yeah. So on anybody's list, Nelson Mandela will be there as a leader.
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King, again, excellent. Winston Churchill, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. So I've got quite a few. Okay, that's great. So we've got all these people that are good leaders, yeah? So we can name a few people that are good leaders. So for example, if you took out, if you had a group of people, say you had 11 people, right? And you're in charge now. What would you do? You're the leader, you've got 11 people, and I say, do something good. What would you do? Put some answers, any answers in the chat? No answers? Why can't you come up with some answers?
Get them together, talk to them.
Talk to them, what do you talk about? You got 11 people, get them together and you'll talk to them, yeah?
Get them to introduce
Okay,
themselves.
you introduce yourself. You know, my name is Waqar. Your name is Nasser. Your name is Irshad. You talk to them. What else would you do? So you got 11 people. You're in charge. You're the leader. What would you do? You got opportunity to lead all these people. Is it not exciting to lead all these people? So mostly, what's the standard approach to lead? You got all these people, and what you're going to say is you're going to scream at them and say, "Go, go, go, go! Charge! Go on, do something!" And what happens, you know, if you're shouting and screaming at all these people, "Go on, do something good! Go on, hurry up!" You're shouting and screaming at them. What do you think will happen? You'll find out their weaknesses. Great, interesting. He's strong. He's weak. Charge! Go on, do something important. Come on, come on. So what's missing? You've got the people, I've given you permission, I've given you authority. You're going to say, Charge, go on, do something. You know, you're screaming at them. Are you an effective leader if that's what you do? You're a good leader if you do that. You'll come across as very authoritative, but what will happen? You adapt to the situation, flexibility. They won't like you. I'm sure they will hate me if I say to them, Charge, go and do something important. Otherwise, I'm going to beat you up. Yeah, if I was big and strong, yeah? There's something missing here, yeah? You all recognize there's something missing. What is missing is a leader has to have a vision. He has to have some kind of objective. He has to have something that he wants to try to achieve. So without a goal, without an objective, a leader is totally ineffective. Without a vision, a leader is totally ineffective. And without a vision and without an objective, the team is totally ineffective. So imagine you've got, say, 11 football players on one side, and you've got 11 football players on the other side, and you take away both goals. And you say, right, here's a football, have a kick about. What do you think will happen? You've got no goals, it's just a pitch, and you give them the ball. What do you think will happen? Any answers? Well, what will people do? They'll get the ball, they run around, they dribble, they go in all kinds of different directions, and you'll find out nothing happens. Eventually, people will just get bored. These 11 players on each side, they'll just kick the ball everywhere, run around, and then they'll get bored and say, oh, I want to go home. So in order to make it interesting, what do you have to do? You have to have goals on one side. You have to have one team on one side, another team on the other side. You've got goals on either side. And the objective is we have to score more goals than the other team. Okay, and once you've got an objective clear, then you can have a football match. Similarly in cricket, if you've got players who are playing cricket without one team trying to make more runs than the other team, it has no purpose. It's same with any sport, any activity. If you don't have an objective, if you don't have a vision, and if you don't have a goal, then you can't lead people. You're going to be a crap leader and you're going to be a crap team. But you have to have, first thing a leader must have is number one, leader must have a vision, okay? So leader must have a vision. Another word for a vision is he must have a goal. Another word for vision and goal is he must have an objective. So the objective of Manchester United at the moment is to win the Premier League. If they don't have an objective, they don't have a goal, and Liverpool have the same objective, and Chelsea have the same objective, they won't win the Premiership. And they have to win matches in order to do that. So the first thing a leader needs is a vision. So, okay, now you're the leader and you've got a vision of what you want to achieve. So you've got 11 people. You have to, first of all, articulate your vision. So in the chart, I've given you 11 people. Write down what your vision would be, what you want to try and achieve. So if you're a company and you've got some people working with you, the company might be, our goal is to make £100,000 a year and make £20,000 profit. So if you got 11 people, what would be your goal and what would be your vision? So look at ways to make money. If I just say to you, right, 11 people, go and make some money, would I be an effective leader? What else would you need to do?
Probably have to state the objectives.
So you may say, okay, your goal might be to make money, okay? And that is the goal of many people, is to make lots of money. But if you just say, go make lots of money, for some people, maybe, you know, if you're a youngster, £100 is a lot of money. And for some people, £200 may be a lot of money, £1,000 may be a lot of money. For some people, 10,000 is a lot of money. For some people, 100,000 is a lot of money. So basically, you have to decide on your vision and on your goal and on your objective. But you can't, if you say money was your goal, you have to say how much money in what length of time. So you might say, okay, I want to make £1 million or £100,000. You might say, I want to make that much in 5 years. Now, if you have 11 people and you have a vision and you have a goal of making £1 million in 5 years, of course you can break that down into what's 1 million divided by 5? Want some of you are mathematicians?
$200,000.
So, but that means you have to try and make 200,000. How many notes do I need? 200,000 in a year. Okay, so you have to make 200,000 in a year. Okay. So you've got 200,000.
Hey. Can we mute the mic, please?
So you have to make 200,000 in a year. Then you break it down a bit more, and that might be, you know, 40-something thousand per month or something, yeah? So you're now breaking it down into some sum that you can make tangible or real. So first thing a leader must have, he must have a vision, he must have a goal or an objective, and that objective has to be specific, okay? If it's just general, it's no good. The objective has to be specific. So your objective might be to get a law degree, to make £100,000, or to buy a new house, or to buy a new car, or to buy a dress for a particular function. So in order for you to achieve, lead a team, you need an objective, you need a vision. So you need to be able to go, so now you know that you've got some kind of an objective, some kind of a vision, okay? So that's the first criteria. So you're here at the moment, at position A, and you want to get to position B. So position A, at the moment, you're making maybe 10K a month or something, 10K a year, £10,000 a year. And you want to make $1 million in 5 years, so you have to make 200,000 per year. So you need to get from A to B. So do you think you can get straight from A and go across to B? Is that what happens? So you have a vision, and you know your vision is to go from £10,000 you've got, and you want to make $1 million in 5 years. So that's about 200,000 per year. So what do you have to do now if you've got a vision? The vision is clear now, yeah? Now, normally you have to have some kind of plan, yeah? So now you know what you want, yeah? So you know what you want. Yeah, so you know what you want. You want to make 10K. You're at 10K at the moment and you need to make £200,000. Or you've got a bike at the moment and you want to get a car. So you're riding your bike and you want to get a car. So you've got a particular goal, a particular objective. What's the next question you ask yourself? So you've got a vision, you've got an objective, or it might be a degree that you're going to get. But then you have to have some kind of you need to know, how to achieve that goal. So how do you achieve your goal and how you achieve your objective, yeah? So you need, and in technical terms, how to achieve something, that's called a strategy. So the technical word for that is strategy. So you have to have some kind of strategy, okay? Okay, so if you know that you want to make £200,000 a year, £1 million in 5 years, you have to have some kind of strategy, or you need to know how you're going to get there. So do you think it's a straight line? It's a straight line function. You go from A and suddenly in 5 years you're going to be there. What would you have to do in order to make £200,000 a year? You got 11 people. You've got a team. You're the leader. Now you have a vision. What are you going to do? Down in the chat. What are you going to do?
Someone sort of said, steadily set small tasks in order to achieve the bigger picture.
Okay, so you set up small tasks, yeah. So you're breaking it down into £200,000 a year. You break that down in weekly, so you maybe come down to £40,000 per week. Yeah. So you have to work out. Yeah. So you've got the goal, and you've got to break down the goal into. So you've got the goal going from A to B. You know you're going to make 200,000, and you're only making 10 at the moment, and you got 11 people. Yeah, so you're going to break it down, so that works out to be 40K per week. So if that was you've broken it down into a smaller goal, what do you do next? You've got a vision, you've got a team. What are you going to do next?
They say, someone said, allocate tasks and execution.
So allocate tasks, and whose job is that to allocate tasks? The leaders. Very good, excellent, great answer. So now you have a vision, and then now you're going to break down this vision into tasks. Yeah, and you're the leader, and you have this 11 people. So you're the leader, you got 11 people, and you're going to allocate some tasks to them, yeah? And that's what companies do, okay? So how are you going to break that down into tasks? And great answer there, Arlene. You said you're going to delegate. So you're the leader, Arlene, and you're going to delegate these tasks to these people. So what tasks are you going to delegate? These 11 people are waiting. You're the leader.
Maybe some marketing, if there's any marketing involved.
Okay, you're going to market, yeah? What are you going to market?
Products or...
Based on everyone's strengths?
Yes.
And who knows what the strengths are of everybody in the team?
The leader should know.
The leader, yeah. So if you're the leader and you don't know the strengths of your team, then you're not going to be able to achieve your goals or objectives, yeah. So you might say, okay, you sit together as a team, and you might say, right, I need to have a vision. I want to make this amount of money. I've got that vision. Then you said, then you need to know how are you going to make it. So you need to know how to do something. So what is that something you're going to do? So a lot of Asian people, they're very entrepreneurial. What is an entrepreneur? What is an entrepreneur, if I got the spelling right? Do you know what an entrepreneur is? You need a backup plan. Great answer. Backup plan to what? You've got 11 people. You know you're going to make £40,000 per week, or you're going to buy it. One who finds money from others. So you need to get money from other people. Great answer. A person who sets up a business. Great answer. Someone who takes initiative. Another great answer. Entrepreneur is an inventor. Entrepreneur can be an inventor, but an entrepreneur uses ideas or products to make money. Yeah, so that's what entrepreneur does. A product that people are willing to pay for. Okay, so basically, you know how much you're going to make. Now we're coming up with some great answers. So we decide that we have. So we want to go from A to B. We want to go from 10K to 40K. So we're going to decide, okay, what skills do we have? So we in our house, we have our mum, and she can make tea. So she makes this amazing tea. Or you Domino's, and you can make this amazing pizza. Or you McDonald's, you can make an amazing burger. Or your Costa, you can make amazing coffee. But here in this case, you can make amazing tea. Okay? So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So you can make this amazing tea. You got this product everybody loves, yeah. So what are you going to do? And you know you need people, and you've got the workforce. You've got a team on it. You're going to sell it, yeah. So Luqman's got a great answer. You're going to sell this tea. So you're going to sell this tea, and where are you going to sell it? You're going to stand on the road, on Cheetham Road, and sell it. So know what is the product, yeah, great, we've got tea now or coffee, and we have to have people who are willing to pay for it. Amazing answer. And you need to scale it to demand, okay. So if you sell me 1 cup of tea, you sell Dr. Nasser 1 cup of tea, you sell Irshad 1 cup of tea, you're not going to make this magic number, £40,000 per week. So establish a target market, great. So that's great. So you've got a target market. Where is your target market? You've got to look at the competition. Great. So where is your target market? So you decide, right, okay, so you've got a target market, and that target market is, for example, in Bolton, yeah? So you've got this target market in Bolton. You've got this amazing cup of tea, and that could be Cheetham Hill, it could be Longside, it could be London, could be Glasgow, it could be anywhere where there's this love tea. So they have to love this tea.
It could be in Texas as well.
It could be Texas, it could be Pakistan, it could be Lahore, it could be Mumbai, it could be anywhere. So you're going to set up a shop in Bolton. So now you know you've got this amazing tea, and now you're going to, you've got this lots of talk, and you're going to set up a shop. So this is a tea shop, yeah? And if you just write down tea shop in Bolton, do you think people will come to it? Do you think people, if you just, fantastic answer, Luqman, you're coming up with magical answers. you need a catchy name. So you need a catchy name, a name that people can relate to, and you need to then obviously advertise. So there is actually a tea shop in Bolton, and the catchy name that these people came up with is called Jaiwala. Has anybody heard of Jaiwala in Bolton or in Leicester or anywhere? Anybody heard of that? Yes, you've heard, somebody's heard of it. Ali Muhammad's heard of it, fantastic. Hannah's heard of it, so it's famous, isn't it? So you started off with a product and you got 11 people. You've got to look at the competition, so your tea is much better than the competition. So how are you going to make this 40,000 per week? How are you going to make 40,000 per week? So branding, yeah, branding, logo, amazing answer. All the branding and logo will help you sell it. Customer relationships, excellent. So what are you going to do now then? You know, you've got quality products, yeah, so you know that the quality of this has to be good. If the quality is no good, you're going to go out of business, okay? What you're spending, okay, yeah, you can't waste your money. But what you're going to do, so how much are you going to sell this cup of tea for? So you've got this chai, this tea, how much are you going to sell it for? So of course you need advertising, great answer. You've got to attract your customers, great answer. So what are you going to do with your tea? Without the tea, there's no money, there's nothing. You've got to look at your profit margin. So how much would you sell this tea for? Vouchers, coupon, all great great ideas for advertisements. So so let's decide as a group how much you're going to sell this tea for. I'll put some answers in the chat. How much you're going to sell this tea for? £1? You'll have to sell a lot of teas to make £40,000 profit. £2.50, great answer. Any more answers? Sell more than the production price. Obviously, you need to, the 250, everybody's coming up with 250. So what dictates the price that you sell the tea at? So are you just making up a random number? What dictates the price?
What other people are selling it at as well?
Yeah, so you got to look at what your competition. If other people are selling tea at £1, you sell it at 250. Well, maybe unless your tea is so much more amazing than the others, you're not going to be able to sell any. So you got to look at the competition. Okay. Without if there is no competition and people want that tea, then you might be able to price it a little bit higher. So you have to look at its uniqueness. Yeah. So this quality and the uniqueness is very important. So shall we agree on selling it for? What shall we agree on selling it for? How much? So just to make the math simple. And it's very important how much people will pay for it. So if you decide to sell it for a certain amount and people are not willing to pay for it, then you don't have a business, okay? So let's say for the ease of mathematics, we sell this tea at £4, okay? So you've decided that you're going to sell this tea for £4. And if you do the mathematics, you have to make £40,000 per week. How many teas do you need to sell? How many teas do you need to sell for £4?
1,000, Luqman said. So
you're saying you have to sell 1,000. Well, obviously, your profit won't be, that won't be your profit. You'll have some, so you have to sell 1,000 if you were making exactly 100% profit, yeah? If you were making 50% profit, how much do you have to sell it for? I'll put in the chat. So if you're making 50% profit, you have to sell it for 2,000. You have to sell 2,000 cups. Yeah. Okay. And if he's making 20% of profit, you have to sell 5,000 cups. Yeah. So on 20% profit, you're going to sell 5,000 cups. Yeah. To make your £40,000. Yeah. Do you all understand what you're doing now? You're trying to break down your, as a leader, you're trying to break down your business. You know what you're going to sell, and you have you have an exact target. So you're going to sell 5,000 teas every day, in order to make 40,000 per week. Okay. So now you know your exact goal. So that is your goal. You had a vision of what you want to make, and you're breaking that vision down into a specific goal. Okay. So now you have a tea shop. So you've got the premises. You have 11 people. What are you going to do now then? What are you going to say to 11 people? And who's going to tell this 11 people what to do? Who's going to tell 11 people what to do?
The leader.
Yeah, so, you know, as a leader, you can tell this 11 people what to do. The leader has to know what to do. And what else does the leader need to do? So you need to know what to do. What else? Who knows how to make this tea? We need to sell that many cups. So you know you need to sell this, 5,000 cups. Yeah, your mum knows what to do. Fantastic. Yeah, mums know everything. So your mum knows what to do. She knows. So your mum knows what to do, but your mum also knows how to do it. Yeah. So your mum knows how to do it. She knows what to do. She knows how to do it. So if you want to succeed in life, the motto is ask your parents, ask your mum. If you do what your mum says, you're never going to fail in life. She might be annoying. It doesn't matter, but she will know what to do. So your mum knows how to make this cup of tea. So your mum can make this cup of tea. So a leader must know what to do. And because a leader has a fantastic mum, and he knows how to do it now. Okay? Yeah, so you answered the questions now. So we know exactly what to do. We know exactly how to do it. We want to sell 5,000 cups of tea. We know exactly how to make it to make a million pounds. Yeah. So we have our specific goal. We know what to do exactly. We've got a vision, and we know how to do it. So what's next then? What is the next step? We know what to do. We know how to do it. What's the next step? So you're going to go from A. You're going to go to B. Yeah. So that's your goal. Normally, when you want to try and achieve your goal, do you go straight to your goal straight away? Do you think, no, you don't go to your goal straight away? Why don't you go to your goal straight away? What happens? What do you need? So in order to do all this, what you need is what's this word? Can somebody read out this word?
Resources.
So you need resources. So who are your resources now? Then let's list what resources you have. Tell me what resources you have. Write in the chat. So you have your team, so you have people. What's the other resource you have? So you got your team, so that these people make a team, great. You got proper equipment, so you need equipment. What else you need? So you need premises, very good. What else do you need? Yeah, chairs and tables, fantastic. You need chairs. And you need tables. You need a cash machine. So obviously you need all the ingredients. You need staff. So I think we said that staff advertise. So obviously you need advertisements. So if you opened a tea shop in Bolton and you've only got cups of tea, do you think you're going to succeed? All you do is sell tea.
Sell some other stuff as well.
So you need other stuff as well, yeah. So Costa might have coffee, Jawala might have tea, McDonald's might have a burger. So you need other stuff. So you might need some cake, you might need some biscuits, you might need a sandwich. So you need other products, but it all hinges on the tea. Okay. So if you want to make £1 million and you're only selling tea, it's very hard to sell that many cups of tea. But if you have cakes and biscuits and kebab rolls and sandwiches, then it gets a lot easier for you to make your 40th air. Samosas, great answer. So definitely need samosas, yeah. And preferably, if it's your mum's samosas, it's probably going to be amazing. So you definitely need all these products, yeah. But there's something else we need. Pakoras, yeah. So yeah, pakoras, popular food in the area. Fantastic answers. But there's something else you need. You've got this shop. You're going to hire all these people. You're going to pay their wages, and your tea shop isn't open yet. What else do you need? What other resource do you need? Some famous person. Okay, fine. That's very good in terms of marketing and what to set up in the first place. What do you think you need? To set up in the first place, what do you think you need? So we can get Amar Khan to come and cut the ribbon in Bolton. We can get Imran Khan to come cut the ribbon in Karachi or Lahore. Right, you need money. Without any money, you can't set up. Your team will run away. So you have a team, but if you don't pay them money, they're going to run away. So you need to start off and you need some money. So that's a resource that you definitely need in order to succeed. Okay. So without money, you can't set up. Okay. So all these things, whose responsibility, all these resources that you named, whose responsibility is it to get these resources? Whose responsibility is it to get these resources?
Leader.
Yeah, so obviously it's the leader's responsibility. And is the leader 10% responsible, or 100% responsible, 50% responsible? What percentage is the leader responsible for? Right, that's a great answer. The leader has to be 100% responsible. So if, say, for example, you're managing a football team and you're playing for the Champions League or something, and your goalie lets a goal in and you lose, whose fault is it? Shouldn't the team give some responsibility? So it's always, so logically, you'd say, well, as a manager, you might say, it's not my fault that goalie let that thing in. It's not my fault he didn't tackle properly. Or if you need one run and you're the last batsman, the manager or the leader says, it's not my fault that he didn't get the run. We were there. It was the player's fault. But if you look at people coming in, so for example, if Manchester United are losing all these matches, when a new directors come in, what do they do? What's the first thing they do if they want to change the fortune of the team? Sack the manager. Fantastic. So the first thing in any organization, if the organization isn't doing well, what do? They sack the leader. So if the country is not doing well, if the country doesn't do well now, they will sack Boris Johnson. If Pakistan doesn't do well as a country, they will sack Imran Khan. If football manager, the team is not doing well, they will sack the manager. Okay? So basically, the first thing they do is they sack the leader, because if you want to change any organization, you change the leader. Okay? So the first thing, they change the leader, and the leader is 100% responsible for the results. And who's responsible for utilizing the resources fully? It's always a leader that's responsible. Who's responsible for utilizing the expertise, the talent, and the abilities and the resources of the people? It's always a leader. Okay? So leadership is the most important thing that you can have to go into an organization and become successful. If you don't have leadership, you're not going to be successful. And if you don't have a leader in an organization, what happens if you don't have a leader, or you have a poor leader? What's going to happen in an organization? What's going to happen in that tea shop if you've got a poor leader? Disaster. So if you have a poor leader, you end up with disaster. What else do you end up with? You're not going to make any money, so you're not going to achieve your goals, so no money. Anything else? Not organized, no smooth plan. If there's no leader, there's probably not even going to be a plan. Any others? So if you don't have any leadership, normally you're going to get, the word that I was looking for is you're going to get chaos. So if you have poor leadership or you have no leadership, you're going to get chaos. So you need to develop your leadership skills in order for an organization to be successful, for a team to be successful, for you to be successful in your career. You need to have leadership abilities and leadership skills. So the biggest cause of failure, in any organization of any type is the lack of leadership. So lack of leadership, that's the biggest cause of failure. So knowing that, how many of you would like to become a great leader? Put your hand up, you've got to say me, me, me. If you don't want to become a great leader, you're going to limit your success, okay? Without leadership ability, you're not going to be very successful. With leadership ability, you're all going to be successful, okay? So you must have this leadership ability in order to be successful. So what happens is you're going to go from A, you're going to go to B. Now you have everything. So you have a vision, you have a goal, and you know what you're going to do, and you know how you're going to do it. So all these things you know, okay? All these are now, you've got all these things in place. But do you think you can go from A to B just like that? Can we go from A to B just like that? Yes or no? No? Any more answers? Yes or no? No? And why do you think you can't go from A to B in a straight line? Why can't you go from an A to B in a straight line? What will happen? What's stopping you going from A to B? What stops you going from A to B? Things need to be done, to be put in place. You have to be lucky. The plans won't work out. Core working. So what happens is if you're going from A to B, unless it's a really, really easy goal, if it's something that simple, your goal is to go to the kitchen and make a cup of tea, you can get and go and make a cup of tea. So if the goal is very easy, then you can get to B. But anything worthwhile, it has to have some difficulty. To make £40,000 a week, you're going to have challenges, you're going to have difficulties. So what happens, you rarely ever go that way because you get obstacles. Yeah, so you get these obstacles that get in your way, okay? So you always have obstacles. So you can't go from A to B normally in a straight line. So you have to go in, you go in a straight line, you have to go up and then you can come down, then you go up and then you come down, you go up there, and then you might get to B. So, or if you're trying to, then you might not get to B if you've got a big boulder, yeah? So in order to overcome these obstacles, what do you need? We know that we're going to have obstacles in any goal. What do you need in order to overcome obstacles? So unforeseen situations and obstacles, natural disasters, great answers coming in. So what you need resilience. What else do you need? Something practical. You need all these qualities like determination, resilience, determination, very good. What else do you think you need to get from A to B? Fantastic answer. So what you need is you need a backup plan. So if your initial plan doesn't work, you need a backup plan. Okay. Now, whose responsibility is it to have a backup plan? The leader. So it always comes down to the leader. So it's the leader's responsibility to have a backup plan. So without a backup, so here you need a backup plan. So you go up there and then you go around it if there's only one obstacle. And if another obstacle comes up, you might need another plan. So you might need more than one backup plan. Okay. So you might have, if the tea competition comes along and nobody likes your tea anymore, you're not going to shut your shop, yeah, because it's going to cost you thousands of pounds. You might say, okay, I need a backup plan. My backup plan is I'm going to have another type of tea, which is just as good or popular as this type of tea. Or I'm going to sell coffee as well, or I'm going to sell orange juices or something. So you always need backup plans for anything that might go wrong. So there is this law called Murphy's Law. How many of you heard of this Murphy's Law? So what's Murphy's Law? Anybody heard of it? Anybody heard? You haven't heard of it? So the obstacles can also help your business because you might come up with something innovative. So the Murphy's Law says, leader surely needs strong shoulders. Fantastic. When something goes wrong, it will go wrong. Yeah, so that's Murphy's Law. So if something can go wrong, it will go wrong, yeah? So if anything can go wrong, it'll go wrong. So that's usually Murphy's Law. So basically, what does a leader do? So the leader knows, he's expecting, this Murphy's Law comes true. What is the leader going to do? Yeah, so a leader must have a plan B. So a strong leader, so if you have a strong leader, they have a plan of going from A to B. They know that things will go wrong and they might end up in different directions and they might end up somewhere else. So a strong leader, they plan for the things to go wrong, yeah? So they anticipate things are going to go wrong, yeah? So they always have plans just in case. So if something goes wrong, a leader is always prepared, okay? So if something goes wrong, a leader is always prepared. So if something can go wrong, the leader is always prepared. They have a backup plan. They know what they're going to do if things go wrong. Now, if you have 10 backup plans, are you going to tell your team about all your backup plans? Yes or no? No, no, no. Why would you not tell the team your backup plans? You've got 10 backup plans. You never tell them. So why don't you tell them? Okay, so if you tell your team 10 backup plans, the team is going to get worried. They might lose a bit of motivation. They might get worried. They might be motivated. They might get scared. So you don't want your team to be scared, worried, lack of motivation, or you don't want to create fear or panic. You don't want to create fear, and you don't want to create panic in your team. So you might tell them one backup plan, but you won't tell them all the backup plans, okay? But you want to make them relax, you want to make them motivated, you want them to be positive, so you won't tell them all the things that can go wrong, yeah? But you might tell them, oh, if one or two things go wrong, this is what you need to do. So you might tell key members of the team the backup plan and how you're going to succeed. And the biggest cause of failure in many leadership is they don't have a vision, they don't know what to do, they don't have a backup plan, and more important than anything else is what's the big, let's write down the causes of failure in leadership. So number one, they have no vision, or they have a fuzzy vision. It's not clear. So number one is lack of vision. So they don't know what their objective is. So they don't know where they're going to go. They don't have a vision. And sometimes people are appointed as leaders and they've got no vision and they don't know where to go. And if they do have a vision, often leaders fail to communicate that vision. So they fail to communicate. And whose responsibility is it to communicate? Whose responsibility is to communicate? It's always the leader's responsibility. So you get lack of vision, lack of communication, and now we mention things like resources. So sometimes people say, oh, I failed because I didn't have any money, or I didn't have this, I didn't have this skill set. They say all these things there when people fail. But often it's not the lack of resources people fail due to, it's the lack of resourcefulness, the lack of use of the resources. So the leaders sometimes often fail to use all the resources. And if you don't use the resources, what happens? So say, for example, you've got some people in your organization and you don't use them. They've got talent, they've got abilities, they've got creativity, they've got ideas. What happens when you don't use the resources that you have? So if you don't use the resources, what happens? Do you want to type something in? Why? If you don't use the resources, what happens? Okay, you're going to lose, yeah? You're definitely going to use. But if you don't use resources, then these resources go stale and they rot away. No, so if you've got a talented person in your organization and you don't use them, then what happens is they will go and gossip and they'll waste time and they'll create negativity in the team, or they will quit, they'll go somewhere else. So often one cause of failure in leadership is the failure to use the resources. So you need to use all your resources that you've got. And if you don't use the resources, you've got greater chances of failure. And if you use all your resources, then you've got much more chances of succeeding. Okay? So you've got to have a vision or objective. You have to communicate with people. You have to use all your resources, and you have to have a backup plan. So that, in summary, is a quick synopsis of practical leadership. I think I'm running out of time. We can go to the next. We can do another lesson on leadership, perhaps in one of the sessions. Are there any questions that you want to ask, or anything that you want to know, or any thoughts you want to share with the other people? Thank you for the compliment, Luqman, that it was informative. Any questions you have?
I think, you've sort of given an example of demonstrating good leadership to start up a new business and that. But obviously, there's other areas as well of leadership, which obviously, but you've got to follow similar kind of principle. You've got to take responsibility and communicate with your team, and whichever area it is, whether it's starting up a new business or leading a team in your workplace and maybe university or anywhere else.
So leadership is very important for everybody. So for example, if you have a family, there's always a leader of the family, and the better your leadership skills are within the family, the more successful the family can be. So in families, you have leadership. If you're going to work, leadership doesn't always mean that you have to have a formal title of being a leader. So if you're working in a team, there will always be a team leader. Without a team leader, the team can't function. If you're playing a sport, there'll always be a captain. The captain is a leader on the field, or the manager is the leader in of the club. The captain is the leader of the team on the pitch. So in any situation, there's always has to be a leader. So you've got opportunities to practice your leadership skills all the time. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said that if you're traveling, even if there's two of you, appoint a leader from amongst you. And that's how important it is for us to have leadership ability, leadership qualities. And by exercising that leadership is how you're going to learn and you're going to excel. Without exercising that leadership, you're not going to excel and go very far in life. So everybody in some way is a leader. A mother is a leader of her children in the house, and she tells them what to do. She knows what the vision is for them. You need to have an education. You need to become a doctor. You need to study every day. You need to do this. So the mother is often a leader in the home of children's education, their health. The father is the leader of the family because they're there for protection and provision. So anywhere you go, in whatever situation, there is always a leader, and you mustn't shy away from the opportunity to practice your leadership skills. And nobody, people say our leaders born, our leaders made. Everybody's got the ability to lead. We're multiple personalities. If you're a father, you're a leader. If you're an elder brother, you're a leader. If you're the elder sister, you're a leader. If you're the mother, you're a leader. And even if you're younger, you might have some talents that the elderly family don't have. So you say, I'm great at chess. So maybe that person can be a leader in when we play chess. Or I'm great at coding. Maybe you can teach your whole family how to code. So a leader is an integral part of everybody's personality. But what we do is shy away from it. We don't exercise it. We don't develop it. We need to develop that leadership. Okay. And again, qualities that our youngsters have mentioned, like resilience and courage, they're all the qualities of a good leader. And we need to cultivate them. And if you want to be a good leader, you're constantly trying to get better and better and keep improving your personality, your strength of character, your knowledge, and all these things. So we should not be shy of using our leadership leadership potential.
Yeah,
The
so
greater your leadership potential, the greater you exercise the leadership, more successful you will be in every field of life.
yeah, there's a number of youngsters who are in school or colleges who are watching this webinar now. What advice would you give to these youngsters, say, how to get involved with some sort of leadership roles in school? Um,
So I think there are lots of opportunities to have leadership roles in school. For example, you might have a certain interest. You might be interested in computers or gaming. You might form a club, become a club leader. There's lots of sports opportunities to play football. You might become a football. So even on a football pitch, there might be the captain who's a leader, but then you'll find that in defense, there'll be the central defender who's organizing the defense and doing things. So he's a leader in his own right. Okay, so everybody can be a leader. So you might have a captain in cricket who's a leader, but then you might say one person comes along and say, I take the responsibility to make sure I score enough runs for the team to win. So everybody can exercise leadership regardless of the role that you play in a team. So our school, there's lots of opportunities for leadership in clubs and sports and lots of activities that you do. But in class, you can show leadership. If you've got a good sense of humor, you might take responsibility to make the classroom a pleasant environment and make people laugh, and you're taking leadership in that particular role. So there's opportunities for leadership everywhere.
So even in school, there's opportunities where to serve in the school council. So even at a young age, you know, the school council, so you could demonstrate your leadership, get involved, and see how the school is run. And obviously, as a leader, it's very, very important that you have good communication skills. A leader needs to be able to communicate with other people. So there's plenty of things, but I think it's very informative. We've had some feedback from in the chat box. The youngsters we found learn a lot of stuff from this webinar. So any other sort of questions? We have anyone wants to ask any additional questions? Yeah. So at the YPS Young Professional Society, we, as I mentioned early in the introduction to this webinar, that we focus on communication. So it's important for leaders to have good communication skills. We focus on innovation, on leadership, and we will be running some programs as well. I believe we should have a program on leadership which we should start hopefully once we come out of this lockdown, which will be open for the youth as well, leadership for the youth and also for the young professionals. So we will keep you posted on these programs, and then you can learn a lot. And then hopefully we will have people, professionals in different fields who will be present during these programs, so you have a direct interaction with these from these successful leaders. So there's a lot of professional. We have politicians, we have academics, we have scientists, innovators. We have Professor Samir Iqbal, who's joining us with this webinar today, who is part of the STEM Matters, and he's teaching STEM Matters. They're doing fantastic, great work in trying to help youngsters to how to create, how to innovate, and take part in competitions, and how to demonstrate your leadership and become a good innovator. And we will also have a YPS conference on the 25th of September, where we will be bringing all these leaders and innovators together. So that'll be a golden opportunity for the youngsters, for the young professionals to get together, to network with senior professionals, and to learn from these people. And I think the key thing is that we learn from each other. You know, so somebody who's a junior person can learn from somebody who's senior. And we're lucky YPS has a large network of people, senior people, very experienced people in the field who are prepared to sort of come together and help and share their knowledge and their experience with the youngsters.
There's a question out here on how to lead when the lockdown.
Okay.
So I think there was nice, interesting questions about lockdown. Obviously, in lockdown, people have shown a lot of leadership and initiative. For example, this elderly gentleman, he raised £40 million just by walking in his garden. So he showed great leadership in lockdown. We're interacting with families, doing Zoom seminars. Again, there's lots of leadership. So it doesn't really matter if you're in lockdown, if you're interacting with people, taking initiative and doing things, then you're exercising your leadership qualities. So even if you're posting blogs online and advising people on how to best live their lives or giving them some useful information, you're showing leadership qualities.
Yeah, we have Professor Ahmed El-Malul, who is a surgeon, senior surgeon in Poland. He's just messaged that he looks forward to seeing us all at the conference in September. So those youngsters who want to become medical people, medical, surgeons, doctors and that, and you want to sort of receive some mentoring from senior surgeons, then, you should come to this conference in September. Professor El-Malul from Poland will be present, hopefully. Thank you, sir. So I think, yes, maybe we should wrap up now. So I think, thank you very much, Professor Ahmed, for an excellent webinar on practical leadership. And thank you for everyone for taking part today, for joining us and for asking these questions and making this webinar interactive. Thank you very much. And hopefully we'll look forward to our next webinar, hopefully next week. Maybe Professor Samir Iqbal could sort of tell us on the next webinar next week. If he's there.
So next week, thank you, Dr. Iqbal, for this fantastic talk, Dr. Waqar, Professor Waqar. I can tell everyone we have up times and down times. So keeping spirits up, that's part of our leadership. And Dr. Waqar and Dr. Nasser is doing that. He's keeping us spirited. He's keeping us motivated. Next week, we have a webinar on big data. What is big data? How is it affecting our lives? And what are some opportunities that come with that? So that would be with respect to COVID, with respect to isolation and everything that we are doing, how we can get into big data and use it for us. So that's next week on February 14th.
Okay, perfect. Okay, then thank you very much.
Looking forward to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we have recorded this webinar, so hopefully we will upload this on our YouTube channel and also on the STEM Matters YouTube channel. So if for those of you who were not able to join, will get the opportunity. So do go and see our website, our YouTube channel, and also STEM Matters. There's a lot of lectures there, a lot of videos there, and I'm sure you'll all find it very, very interesting. Thank you very much. Good night. And
thank you very much.
God bless. Assalamu alaikum.